So the forest is like your toolbox. Get yourself some sticks. You can do anything.
At an elevation of between 900 and 1,000 meters above sea level, Karuizawa is a popular resort town located in the very east of Nagano Prefecture. We wanted to learn how this popular town, that's less than an hour and a half from Tokyo, conserves and coexists with the wildlife around it.
Well, the history of Karuizawa is not that long. The soil is kind of poor because of the lava from Mount Asama, so we couldn't make the rice fields. That means that in Edo time, taxes were paid mainly rice. So if you can't make rice crops here, that means you can't pay the taxes. So the people didn't live in Karuizawa.
When Japan opened up to Western countries, the first ones to arrive were missionaries and their families. They found an escape from the hot, humid summers of Tokyo, contributing to the strong Western-style atmosphere that persists to this day. This includes numerous summer houses that remain unoccupied for much of the year, making the encounters with wildlife quite common. Organizations like Picchio play a crucial role in these areas.
Back in 1990s, we had time of a bubble period, we call it. We had a lot of ski resorts, golf courses. There were a lot of development in Karuizawa, and we didn't want this forest to turn into a ski resort or golf resort. So what we thought, yeah, it's a woodpecker. Agreed. So we wanted to keep the forest as it is. We started a small business, and to be sustainable, also we wanted to, protect nature.
Picchio hopes to show people the value of nature through their guided nature tours. They believe that if they increase the value of the forest through their non-destructive nature tours, they can preserve the lives of all the species living here in a more sustainable way.
How many bears are there?
In Karuizawa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, we have about 30 or so collared, so we know that they exist, but there's probably way more than that, like maybe 200 or something. Like if you include the mountain, this whole area is pretty massive. Until now in Karuizawa we have caught, 309 since we started. About
that device has that number?
Just the last collared bear on here is 309.
The Asian black bear that inhabits Karuizawa is typically very shy, but it can become easily habituated, leading to various problems such as traffic accidents, property damage, and occasionally human injury. These issues ultimately have a negative impact on the bear. That's why Picchio intervened, in cooperation with the town, to initiate a long-term project aimed at reducing human-bear conflicts, benefiting residents and bears alike.
Before we started the conservation of bears, the bears that came into the town, they were killed at once. They were just removed. In order to coexist with wild animals, we decided to capture them and put the radio collar on.
This helps to track the bear movements and be aware when they're getting too close to town, or to locate their winter dens, to study their behavior using the sensor cameras Picchio has around the forest for multiple uses.
For long range, you would record the direction in which you think it's strongest, then go to another point, do the same thing, and you can draw lines on the map.
Kind of triangulate.
Yeah. Then once you've got that closer signal, then you could head to that triangle, and with this antenna, these collars are transmitting a very high frequency, which is what this antenna is picking up. So I would have shown you on the map, okay, we're going to head here, and then we would get out with this, listen, and when it gets really strong, a number comes out on the screen. Yeah.
When bears come too close to town, the bear dogs are deployed for work. These Karelian bear dogs are trained to track the bears and drive them away from urban areas.
Hey! Hey! In order to coexist, put them back in the forest and try to teach them to not come into people's area.
This effort is complemented by specially designed bear-proof rubbish bins, which have effectively reduced instances of bear damage to almost zero over a 5-year period.
Another animal that Picchio has its eyes on is the endemic Japanese giant flying squirrel, locally known as musasabi. The body of these squirrels is about 25 to 50 centimeters long, and the tail a further 30 to 40 centimeters. It weighs between 700 and 1,500 grams, hence the giant in their names. It eats fruits and nuts and lives in holes in large trees. Picchio installed a few squirrel nests around different spots in town. We installed cameras inside of them to further study their behavior. Every day, they check these cameras to survey on the state of the squirrels, especially during the breeding season. This mostly nocturnal animal has a web of skin between its legs, which it uses to glide between trees. Glides of up to 160 meters have been recorded.
It looks really beautiful on the trees,
Yeah.
though.
After the big snowstorm, venturing outside of town became a bit more challenging.
Excuse me?
Ikenai?
Maybe that's like a...
無理チェーンないと無理。
あ、そっか。
チェーン
But we still made our way to the old road in search of more wildlife. Although it's possible to walk along this road, it has been closed to vehicles for several years due to landslide in the area. That's why you'll notice fences along the side of the road. They serve as landslide protection. With a sudden decrease in road usage, animals have gradually reclaimed it as their own.
We started finding traces of the also endemic Japanese Serow. Some tracks follow with traces of their characteristic fur.
Maybe this is more from...
The Serow is seen as a national symbol of Japan and is subject to protection in conservation areas. In the mid-20th century, the Japanese Serow was hunted to near extinction. So later, the Japanese government passed a law designating it a special national monument. Population have since grown so greatly that it now ranks as least concern in the red list of threatened animals. It is an agile, sure-footed mountain dweller that is able to sprint up mountains and to jump from cliff to safety. Hunters have compared this display of agility to the ninja.
It was fascinating to learn on this trip how Japanese society possesses a different understanding of conservation and adapts to maintain a balance between wildlife and humans in these areas.
Japanese have sort of kind of a religious background of Shinto. In our shrines, we have komainu and also these monkeys and also the ravens. We have all those kind of creatures around, even sometimes snakes. We do admire the wildlife, but we also kind of been coexisting with wildlife for more than 1,000 years. Common sense of Japanese sort of has kind of feelings that the creatures are there. It doesn't have to be kind of saved that much. So the difference between the Japanese and also the Western audience is, I think the Western country concentrates on conservation, have to keep the animals safe, right? And we're not like that. Not co-live together with wild animals, but coexist. That's what we're trying to do.
あとあの辺とかで見ますね。
Exactly, that's also what we're looking for.